My name is Daniel Gonzalez, and I'm a vascular neurologist here at Barrow Neurological Institute. Here at BNI, we have a unique component to our stroke care, which involves the utilization of a mobile stroke unit.
We had been on vacation. We were traveling with our daughter and her husband, Stephen, and our 2 grandsons. And we were wrapping it up to go back home to Dallas. So we'd been in the air for a while, and Richard, my husband, said, I can't see. And his words were getting more slurred and sluggish, and he couldn't form words.
Rose turned around and she said, Richard can't see. And I said, well, ask him to say mama and tick-tock. And those are just to see if he is phonetically speaking okay, and she said he can't. I could see he had what's called a right facial droop, and he wasn't moving his right arm as well as he should.
Stephen immediately knew that a stroke was happening.
Got the flight attendant's attention to alert them that there was a passenger on the plane having a stroke, and I looked at Rose and I said, what time is it? And she said, it's 8:04 p.m. And so at that moment, I asked for ground control, and I asked the flight attendants that the only thing that we need is to get him on the ground.
On Saturday night, my coworker and I were listening to our radio, and we heard a call go out for a stroke at Sky Harbor Airport. The crew on Engine 19 with the fire department understood how serious of a situation it was, and they requested to add us to the call.
At 8:43, my mobile stroke unit team notified me that there was a patient on a plane that was suffering from the acute onset of stroke-like symptoms. I didn't have any other information. I knew he was weak on one side, and I knew that he was non-responsive.
As soon as we landed, the flight crew requested everybody to stay seated on the plane, and the fire department and paramedics entered the plane.
I just saw 4 firefighters lifting our patient out of his chair and into a wheelchair to completely assist him off of the plane, because immediately upon looking at him, I was thinking that this looks like a really severe stroke. I contacted my doctor.
The first thing I heard was, Danny, this is real.
And he immediately told me, yes, put him on our truck and let's scan him right away.
We got off the plane quick. We were down on the tarmac in just minutes, and that's when they took him into the mobile stroke unit.
At that time, we knew immediately that we had to do a CT scan in a matter of minutes and make a treatment decision.
We have the CAT scanner in here so that we can get a basic CT scan of the head and verify whether there is bleeding in the brain or not. If it turned out to be a stroke caused by bleeding, we absolutely wouldn't want to give thrombolytics to that patient. We would only make it worse.
Moving forward, the CT scan took a matter of about 3 to 4 minutes. And when we pulled him out of the CT scanner, immediately I was able to see the image in real time. And most importantly, I noticed that there was no evidence of large hemorrhage or hemorrhage at all inside of his brain. This made him a candidate to receive the medication, the clot-busting medication, TNK.
We were able to get the necessary scan, the necessary blood work, and all of the evaluations that we needed to collect and administer the thrombolytics.
He was only in there for a short time. Then he was immediately in the ambulance.
I pushed the medication for him, and within less than a minute, he went from being unconscious and his eyes closed to rousing and making eye contact with me and asking questions.
The next step after that was to have the patient sent quickly over to St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center and Barrow Neurological Institute Emergency Department.
And as we're driving, I don't think we'd barely made it out of the airport, off the airport property, and we were driving to the hospital, and I could hear Richard talking in the back. I heard his voice, so I looked at the driver and I said, "That's a good sign." He's like, "That is a great sign."
Well, I remember being in there, and they just kept telling me stay up. And they were giving me my medication.
And he was still a little bit out of it, understandably. He was just barely coming out of it, but he went from not being able to move the entire right side of his body to moving all 4 of his arms and legs.
They were telling me I had a stroke, and I think, no, there's no way I could have a stroke. I feel like I was in pretty decent shape.
He entered the emergency department, and Dr. Ashley Bailey was the resident that gave me his current state of examination. What she said still gives me chills. He's moving the right side, he's awake, he's alert, and he's responding to questions. He's, quote, just a little sleepy. But when I entered his hospital room, he was eating breakfast with his wife by his side, his daughter's grandkids by the bedside, and he had his away luggage bag sitting in the back of the room. The man that we had just treated, that I had seen on the gurney not moving his right side, not responding, was having a fluent conversation, hair combed beautifully, beard beautifully done, very well taken care of, and him and his wife were grateful for everything that we had just done for them.
It's just emotional feeling. I had my parents, both of them had passed away from strokes, and it didn't turn out real well for them. And I think about how time is very crucial at something like that, and everything just happened to be at the right time. But I just get real emotional thinking about the help that I got and the medication I needed at the right time.
We successfully found the cause of Mr. Flores' stroke. We addressed it within his hospitalization. He will be discharged 3 days after he was admitted to our institution, and he will be able to take a flight home to Fort Worth with him and his family. The implications of this case are grand, they're gigantic. This was a streamlined stroke case that allowed me to put the patient in a position of success, save his life, and not leave him neurologically devastated.
From the moment that his symptoms started to the moment that I was told he was giving the life-saving medication he needed was 1 hour and 20 minutes. And that's from 37,000 feet in the air.
They saved my life. I don't think I would be here today. I'm so thankful.